And one of the things I pointed out in my comments last week, and I just touched on it briefly, and I want to go into it in a little more detail, is understanding the impact of credit card debt on your mortgage borrowing power. So what I did is I put together some numbers, and it's going to be on this next slide that Jeff's going to pull up. And when I put these together, I was frankly a little bit taken back. I really could not believe the impact of credit card debt on your ability to borrow, a mortgage or borrow a higher mortgage amount. And so what I did here is I made some assumptions. First of all, I'm using the average credit card interest rate currently is about 21%. So that's one of our assumptions. And then I'm comparing that to a 7.5% mortgage rate because yes, folks, good qualified borrower, decent credit score, we can still arrange conforming loans at 7.5, not 8. So I'll keep reminding you of that. But in this little grid here that I put together, look at these numbers. If you have a credit card debt balance total from all your credit cards, it's $25,000. And at a 21% average interest rate, the interest cost for that $25,000 of credit card balance is about $5,200 a year. Well, if you take that number of interest cost and calculate the equivalent mortgage amount that you could get for that interest cost at 7.5%, it's $70,000 in mortgage amount. In other words, what that is telling you is that if you're going to try to qualify for a mortgage at current mortgage rates and you're carrying $25,000 of credit card debt at a 21% average rate, you are going to have $70,000 less mortgage borrowing power than if that credit card debt was not there. And the numbers get even more astonishing the higher the credit card debt burden. Let's say you're a family with $50,000 of credit card debt. Again, using that same 21% interest rate, average interest rate cost for the credit card, that's over $10,000 a year. Well, if you're going to try to carry that debt and qualify for a mortgage, understand at the current 7.5% mortgage rate that I'm using in this example, you are going to diminish your mortgage borrowing power by $140,000. That's huge. And it gets even worse if your credit card debt burden is $75,000. And yes, I'm sorry to say, folks, I have seen that probably more often than I would like from prospective home buyers. That interest cost over a 12-month period, it's almost $16,000. And again, if you're going to try to qualify for a mortgage and you're carrying that much credit card debt, understand you're diminishing your mortgage borrowing power by over $210,000, as you see on this chart. That again is huge. So one of the things I would want to point out then, therefore, and you may already know this, having that much credit card debt is going to affect your ability to qualify. And to the extent you're frustrated because you feel like you cannot qualify for current mortgage rates, or even if you can, you don't want to pay current mortgage rates. Well, if you're carrying this kind of credit card debt, and to take a page out of Dave Ramsey's book, it would be very important to really attack that credit card debt, get it paid down, if not paid off, and understand that that freed up cash flow that you see on this chart on the interest cost column can then be reallocated toward a much higher mortgage amount. And so it'll help you qualify for a higher home price, and a higher mortgage amount. So as I point out here in this slide, in many cases, if you're having trouble qualifying for a mortgage, if you're carrying credit card debt, don't blame current mortgage rates because, again, historically, they're not that bad. Blame credit card rates. Those are the real culprit for those families who have a lot of credit card debt and at the same time are frustrated trying to qualify to get a mortgage. So I'm hoping that these kind of numbers will really spell it out for you, how important it is to really get that credit card debt under control, because particularly at the current rates for those types of loans, credit card borrowing, the rates are crazy high, and you're not going to build any wealth when you're borrowing a substantial amount of money at that interest rate level. So attack that debt, that kind of debt, so that you can reallocate your household budget more toward applying it to mortgage debt and get you in a better position to qualify for the mortgage. So I just wanted to cover that. Astonishing numbers. And I think with this information, it'll help you kind of redirect your household budget and get yourself positioned to get that mortgage to buy the home. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned next week for another edition of Mortgage Minute. In the meantime, I'm Art Alvarez at MortgageWorks, where we do have the answers and they're on the house. Take care.